Got to admit, I'm an impatient as the next guy. And you know, one of the things I hate doing is waiting for wet wood to dry out. Well, it could be a few months, a few years. At the end of the day, I'm not going to hang around. So here's a bit of wet maple. It was taken from a neighbour's felled tree a few months back. And helped him out in moving that tree, and he's given me a few lumps here to put into the garage. It's only about 2 months, so it's heavy stuff, full of water. Now, in my experience, turning green wood, wet wood, whatever the term, is to turn it fairly thin. Some guys like to turn twice turn, turn it about an inch and a half thick wall, let it dry out for 6 months, 12 months, and then for the second turn for the finished product. As I said earlier, I ain't got the patience. So on with the faceplate and onto the lathe and get this spinning. As is usual, hunter's tool, roughing tool, and getting the bark off on the outside and get the whole thing looking a bit rounder than what it is. Now in hindsight, what I should have done was take this lump of wood and put it onto the bandsaw and make it a little rounder than what it is. Only because there's some defects or voids that appear in this, in particular a rotted knot and some other cracks and pieces that only came to realisation and once this bolt had been turned a bit more round on the lathe. Then perhaps I wouldn't have to have used the handsaw here to take off some of the lumps that were getting a little tedious to take out with the Hunter Tools carbide roughing tool. Just missed the camera. One of the advantages in turning green wood is that the shavings come off in very long and lengthy strips. It's a pure joy to see and to work those tools the way they are designed to work. Some of the dry woods I've turned are pretty hard and they crumble off and it's almost like sawdust coming off, but green wood, it's nice and easy to do, and it's a real pleasure. You'll see here with the carbide cup tool for roughing out, even that produces some very nice curly shavings that are coming off. Once the bowl gouges get stuck in, well, then it's all good stuff and it's enjoyable. Shape's coming along nicely, and you can start to see some of these void I was talking about. Going to put on a foot that's going to take the very large chuck. Both the inside and the outside have geometric shaped. Now you'll see as we move on here, there's two voids that particularly had to be addressed. I'm going to use the Abrasive ball gouge, that's B-A-L-L, and it's a tool that was manufactured in my hometown in Western Australia, and they've got other tools that fit mainly grinders, side grinders, and as you can see there, that's a real piece of knot that's rotted right through. So this tool is probably one of my best go-tos in terms of making voids disappear and revealing the solid wood behind. So a little bit of a rear shot there, but you can see how that ball spins at something like 18,000 RPM, and it just takes out all of the rotten wood and leaves behind all the good stuff. I need to sand out these voids. They're pretty well smooth with that tool. So what I'm going to go for here is just some epoxy mixing with a gold coloured tint, and using 5-minute epoxy on this one so that it goes off quickly. As I said, I don't like waiting, so impatience, 5 minutes, and it's solid as a rock. As solid as we can do some final sanding on the surface. So you can see here it going into those voids, getting the actual material level so it sets as close to the surface as possible. Now using the finishing scrapers on the outside of the bowl here to get it nice and smooth and close contact to the surface, and a final sanding up to 240 grit. Time now to hollow out the internal side of the bowl. Sit back and relax. I'll stay out of your ears for just the next few minutes. Enjoy. I'll be back. And there's some nice looking shavings, if I don't mind saying so myself. Now here's the tip. Keep the walls as thick and as supported as you possibly can by turning down the internal side of the bowl towards the bottom, but not right to the bottom. Leaves most of the meat there with the walls supported. This way it reduces the vibration of the walls as it's spinning around, and you get closer and closer to the thinness that you're aiming for, and just keep the material at the bottom of the bowl as you reach that final dimension. Lastly, be very careful staying away from that rim. It can easily push the centrifugal forces of that gouge to the outside of the bowl, so it will skate or skid backwards and make some horrible mess of your rim, and it's something you can't turn away from. Once you've made a mistake like that, it's hard to correct. So keeping those walls supported as they're getting thinner, and be very, very careful of the edge. Now in this project I wanted to keep the walls as thin as possible and to reveal as much of that epoxy resin and limit the void side and the epoxy that's filled that void. Now I've done this so that the actual surface area that's contacting the inside of the bowl, as far as the voids are concerned, is to be minimized so that the moisture that is left in the wood, although there's a great deal less now, they've got the bowl down to its particular dimensions. But if the epoxy does tend not to adhere to moist or wet surfaces and can react pretty badly. So this is total boats penetrating epoxy going on just prior to the finishing coats. Just giving that first epoxy coat a sand down to 240 grit, so it's got a bit of purchase for the final coats, which I'm using the Deft Gloss spray. So preparing the lathe truck so it doesn't get sprayed, well, not too much at least, and the overspray keeps where it should be on that waste cardboard. Apparently it looks like I'm only doing one coat of the Deft Gloss spray, but in fact there's probably 6 coats that go onto this, so to get rid of the sanding marks and give a very, very good gloss finish. So it's getting close where the video finishes. I've got some stills at the end of this shot so you can see how the project turned out. Thanks very much for watching again for another one of my videos this week. It's been great. For those that haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. At least give it a like, and love to hear the comments from my subscribers. We get some good shared knowledge between each other. And hey, check out the community area on the channel here too. Some good shots behind the scenes. Cheers guys, see you next time.